It's been a confusing few years for those of us on the free market right. We've started seeing things that at least I don't ever remember seeing before. And it all boils down to, I think, the adoption of victimhood mentality that for so long seemed to be the exclusive domain of the left. It started on the fringes with people like Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones, but it's now spread alarmingly, at least to me, into formerly mainstream personalities like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and way too many others. Now, a good number of these personalities have all but said that they're taking these positions because they're popular and because they result in more views and more money. Owens, in particular, has been asked on many occasions what she believes, and it's always been some version of the following: I believe what my viewers believe. Fair enough, I guess. But I find it highly ironic that people like this are taking full advantage of a free market that allows freedom of expression, even if their views are provably wrong, while at the same time believing that government needs to clamp down on others whose communications and business methods are objectively doing a lot more good. The lure of victimhood mentality is strong, and it's corrupted many groups and individuals over the years. You can understand the appeal. Why take on the difficult task of realizing that most of what happens in your life, at least here in the United States, is well within your own control? Why recognize that people in the United States at all levels of society are getting richer and more prosperous? And yes, this was mostly true even when Democrats were in charge. Although with today's politics, there's no way to tell how much damage could be done in the future. Much more emotionally satisfying, and let's face it, much easier to talk about Jeffrey Epstein 24/7 than to get out there and overcome whatever obstacles may be in your way to make the life that you want to have. But why is this happening now? Why is it happening so quickly, and why are people going to such incredible extremes? There are two main answers to that, I think. One of them, for lack of a better term, is our fault, and one of them is their fault. The lunatic left has been on the attack against young men, especially white young men, for a very long time now. Everything they did was toxic, racist, or fascist. They were given no quarter, nowhere they could be themselves, or that they could act like the perfectly healthy, normal people who they were. As these people have grown up, they've turned into what my wife and I call Colorado man. We live in Colorado, and we see this all the time. These people are men in name only. They take hikes at 10 a.m. when they should be working. They get berated by their wives for simultaneously working too much and also not being high-value men. And they name their kids things like Graceland and Bear. These people are unfortunately a lost cause, and the boys that they are raising are likely lost too. The left has broken them, and they're not coming back. And I think this is where our culpability comes in. We should have seen this sooner. We should have taken corrective measures to help them, and we didn't, at least not to the extent that was needed. This, in my view, falls mostly on us as parents. We were too busy, too uninformed, too disinterested, or maybe all three, to provide the substantial course correction that was needed. Now, I'm not one who gives up very easily, and I'm not giving up now. And there are signs that things are turning around for the better. In many aspects of human society, things sometimes go too far, but then correct back toward the mean. I think it's likely that the same thing will happen here, but let's try to tilt the odds in our favor. If you have kids or no kids or young people in general, a little education can go a long way. Now, these folks have a reputation for thinking that they already know everything. But I've been honestly surprised at some of the progress I've seen when simple, logical arguments are stated clearly. We really have very little to lose and a lot to gain.